Yeah, so and I have a couple other small points. So I'll be brief as usual. We'll take 10 minutes or so. Well, so now this new strain has a name, right? So it's called Nimbus, I think. Is that the name? Let me double check so I don't. Nimbus, Nimbus. So that's the NB181. I wonder if, Jennifer, if you're comfortable, there's a high chance that that's what you had, simply because about 30%, if not 40% of all the infections now Nimbus. Then the severity seems to be the same, not worse, and it's supposed to have a couple slight differences. So one is that apparently the sore throat is very extreme. It's like really, really strong sore throat. Okay, so Jennifer shaking head. So maybe you had an older variant. And then apparently it has more chances of people losing sense of smell and taste. So that's, remember, we had a couple of generations of the strains back. That was a very prevalent symptom. And then for a long time, we didn't have that whatsoever. No one was complaining of it. Apparently this new strain is that's a bit more common with it. I don't expect any changes based on this. The tests are supposed to pick it up. It's still a Omicron evolutionary, whatever the variant, and it should get picked up by every test. It should get treated the same way, mostly supportive measures. If you have certain risks, of course, you could try Paxlovid, although lately I haven't been recommending to most patients
It's
because of.
also very expensive under at least my insurance, which is a very common insurance
Uh-huh.
with Medicare. They wanted $700 for it. So
Oh my God. So and that was the copay, or is it or they just didn't cover it?
I don't know, because I didn't go pick it up. I had an old
Wow.
prescription which I used because I hadn't gotten your advice yet. Anyway, I started an old prescription, but the new one we didn't pick it up because it cost $700.
Right. So I say good, meaning that I actually don't think that a lot of people should be taking it. I mean, I think I'm sorry I was so busy. I didn't respond to you right away. I think you're
All
talking
right, it's all right. I mean, I understood that.
Yeah, and so, it's kind of unclear who should be taking the Paxlovid at this point. I mean, definitely if somebody's really high risk, like if you have a chronic lung disease, for example, and you get it, then there's a good chance of secondary pneumonias that could be devastating. I think I may sort of decide to give to a patient like that. But that's a surprise. I haven't heard about this since it's so expensive. Makes sense, they're working on sort of cutting costs everywhere, so maybe that's part of the trend now. Yeah, bummer. So Nimbus spelled let me write this, Nimbus, like that. I think it's like Omicron, right? So it's a Greek letter. It's one of those things that they keep using, and it's NB, formal name NB1, NB.1.8.1. That's the actual nomenclature viral code for it. So that's all for that. Now, a couple of other updates. There's a new data saying, I was trying to talk about this before everybody joined, but there's a new study saying that actually upwards of 30% of everybody take a lot longer to resolve any episodes of COVID, up to 3 months. I mean, we do know that there's some 5 to 10% chance of long COVID, but this is different. This is just you're continuously having symptoms and they resolve very slowly. It actually, I'm surprised that this hasn't been studied before, but this study looked into this in a bit more detail, and that's the statistics that they provided. And my last point is, just want to show you this new video we recorded a couple of days ago. I'm going to put it in a link for everybody. So if you have a concern about mold in a house and you want a physical inspector, this is who we use. It's an insight to echo testing. Dr. Soganov has been affiliate of clinic for quite some time. He's very thorough. You can also use them for other types of house inspections. He's not overly expensive. Generally speaking, environmental house testing is very, very pricey because they have to spend a lot of time. They look into details very, very deeply. So if you're interested in a conversation, tune in. I think it's important that we're all aware of this topic. I'm kind of now hyper aware since a week ago we had a major leak in the house. my wife forgot to turn off the faucet upstairs and went for a very expensive walk with our dogs for half an hour. Came back and everything was gushing through the ceiling. So anyway, we took care of it immediately so that we're not going to have a mold in the house, but it just sort of highlighted the sort of immediacy of the process and how expensive all of these things are if you don't pay attention. So don't let any of the house water leaks go unattended. Consequences can be dire. And there are people who will help you to take care of this. So we actually we called Dr. Soganov instantly when this was happening. He said immediately call Surf Pro, and they do work with insurances. So they called our insurances. There's going to be massive copay, but life happens, right? So anyway, it just so happened, by the way, I recorded that video a week before we had a leak, so it's all in that domain. So triple cream cheese made. You can still eat it. It's fine. It's you're gonna be okay. All right, let's do questions. I don't see any, but I'm done with my updates for today. I mentioned the bad article in New York Times. I'll talk about this next time. I want to record the video first.
So unmasking for COVID, I know your recommendation is stay masked for 10 days, even if you're symptom free for, starting.
Unless you decided to rerun the test and the test is negative, and then you don't.
Okay, if I tested negative, I'm okay.
You're okay. Yeah, I mean it's a hyper, like, it's a bit more aggressive than most people say. I think CDC literally says 1 day and then do whatever the hell you want. I kind of feel that that's not. I mean, maybe you can do that to your bad neighbor you dislike, but I wouldn't do that to the friend I do like.
Okay,
And whether it's 5 days to 10 days, that's the most commonly used bracket. I think you can also base it on how you feel. If you're fully getting better, probably okay. What do
thanks.
I think of vegan diet for diabetes? Well, if I were to be Dr. Neil Bernard, of course, I said that this is the #1 treatment and everybody should be doing it. I mean, it's a treatment. It's a good treatment. It's definitely going to work for a lot of people. There's a couple of problems with this diet. If you go vegan diet and you don't count your carbs, it's very, very easy to overtake carbs. So obviously you're gonna have to be careful with that. Other than that, if your vegan diet is very high in plant antioxidants, I think it's very, very good. Will it work for you? That's a different question, right? Because I completely against any universal approaches to eating. There is no such thing. We're all genetically different. Our ancestor lines are different. Some of us should be purely vegetarian. Some of us should be very limitedly vegetarian and should eat a much more diverse foods categories with a lot of foods from, Oh, actually, that reminds me, there was something else I wanted to mention. Those of you who are interested in organ meats, this is how I grew up, right? If you're in a Soviet Union descent, we were eating a lot of organ meats, and that was pretty typical. And they're highly nutritious. And if you listen to people like Terry Walls, who is the person who cured her own MS with a diet, the organ meats are very prominently present as a hyper-nutritious food. You can check out this link. This is a new seasoning that's basically based on New Zealand organ meats with added spices and a little bit tiny touch of salt. It's a great idea. So, if you don't want to buy organ meats or you want to buy other animal food, then if you want this as a seasoning, you'll get a little bit of additional micronutrients that way. So yeah, and so to be going back, is there are other diets that can be very beneficial for diabetes. There's this whole discussion, could keto cure diabetes? Could this, could that? I think everything needs to be individualized. You want to have a good provider who can guide you correctly through the process. And if you decided to try something and it works really well for you, then that works well for you. Like, I think that's very important. Use your own body as a guide rather than expert, including myself, right? Sometimes you will know better than anybody else. And I don't have a lot of concerns with vegan diet, in contrast to some people. It's very easy to supplement B12 and some other minerals. You can take a broad B complex and or broad multivitamin if you're worried about something. If you're worried about iron, you can also supplement and monitor. So these things can be monitored easily and followed. So it's not really an issue. Some people will be concerned about protein intake, the same thing. If you're careful, it's very easy to catch up, and there's plenty of vegan sources of quality protein, not an issue. I mean, it just needs to be, yeah, exactly. Listen to your body. That's really the message here. And if the best experts out there tell you vegan diet, you tried it out and you feel like crap, well, your body disagrees with the leading expert, and that's okay. It's just okay. Good question. Yeah, the Nimbus is just a COVID variant. It's basically the kind of a Omicron descendant, if you will. So that's why the tests still work, and it's still considered to be sub-Omicron kind of thing. That's why it's also mild, even though symptoms slightly different, but the severity of illness is not worse than when it was with COVID. And it's within the next couple of weeks, it'll be completely outpowering. It'll probably be number one in a couple of weeks. Because in Asia, it's already number one. So it'll be here quickly. Yeah, sorry, Jennifer. That's a bummer. That's probably why. You got it not because you were an outdoor small gathering, but you were sharing the car ride, and I presume the windows were closed. All right, well, that's my message. Dr. KTap, did I say it right?
You did.
So great to have you back, and we're gonna listen to your wisdom. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be in this space because when I was doing my medical school training at GW, I was a part of the integrative medicine track. So it's and that was one of the things that attracted me to GW as well. So it's good to be in this place. It's good to see you again, Dr. Kogan, and I'm happy to share with you my talk for today. So, we were talking about the updates of COVID, and you had questions around it. And one of the things that I believe that we should be discussing and thinking more about is how can we be well within ourselves when we are coping with health struggles, right? Whether you have a diagnosis of diabetes or longstanding COVID, hypertension, whatever that thing might be. Because whenever we do get a diagnosis, it's so automatic for us to cling to that as an identity. And so I want us to release ourselves from thinking that because we're experiencing a health challenge, that we're completely limited by that. Okay. And, as a family medicine physician and just having a passion for integrative wellness, I'm so excited again to be here, let you know that you are greater than your diagnosis, even though the challenges within your health might be very overwhelming at times. And this mindset is not only about your physical health, but also your emotional health, your mental health, your spiritual well-being. All of this is connected. And I believe that those of you that are listening know that, but are we truly making those connections? Are we truly listening to our bodies, our mind, and our spirit? Okay. So let's think about the power of shifting your perspective. So in traditional healthcare, we often see our diagnosis as an endpoint, right? A label that defines us. But in reality, a diagnosis is just one piece of the puzzle. It does not define who you are or limit your potential. I've worked with many individuals who were told their health condition would define the rest of their life, only to prove otherwise, that with the right mindset and using a holistic and integrative approach, healing is always possible. And understanding that healing comes from within. And that's why it's so important to be in a space of discussing integrative wellness, because you have your traditional health techniques, but there are so many other facets and dynamics that might be helpful for you to reverse disease, optimize health, whatever that might be for you. Okay. So I want to encourage you to see your health challenges as an opportunity to reconnect with your body, your mind, and your spirit. Integrative medicine plays such a crucial role in this approach because it's about aligning the conventional treatments with practices like mindfulness, nutrition, movement, and emotional well-being, to say a few. And each of these aspects contributes to a healthier, more resilient you. So I want you to think about in your life how connected you feel within your body and how you're connecting that to your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, and your spiritual well-being. And just take a moment to do that. I purposely don't have slides today because I really want you to be introspective as I'm going through my talk. And you'll get a summary, a handout later on so that you can really just focus on you during this talk, okay? Why this is important to me is because I've had my own personal experiences as it relates to having a diagnosis, right? I was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, second year of college, immediately went on dialysis. 10 years later, I got a transplant, wasn't successful, had to go back on dialysis. And now, about a year and a half now, I've gotten a second transplant, which has been much more successful. And the reason I'm mentioning all of that is because there are waves within our health. And on my journey of those waves within my health and wellness, I have learned a lot. And I want to share what I've learned with other people as to, again, how not to be defined by a diagnosis. So experiencing chronic illness and still being able to be a physician, be a wellness coach, being a speaker, serves to let you know that you can be more than you currently are and not think of the diagnosis limiting your potential. I want you to think about how you can reclaim your power within your health. And a lot of the times we use the word health and wellness interchangeably. So I just want to take a moment to define what health is and what wellness is. Yes, they're interconnected, but there are stark differences between the two. All right, so health is a state of being free from illness or injury. All right. So it's a state of the overall condition of a person's mind and body. And based on the World Health Organization's definition, it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely just the absence of disease. All right. So your health is a state of being free from illness or injury. On the other hand, wellness is an active process of becoming aware of making and choosing how you live your life and how you take care of your health and your how you take care of your health and your lifestyle in general. So it's more of a holistic and dynamic concept that not only emphasizes lifestyle choices, but how to prevent disease and how you're growing through that process to enhance your quality of life. So wellness is more self-directed, it's more evolving, it's more of a proactive approach rather than one that is reactive. All right. So in summary, think about your health as the state of your condition of your mind and your body, but wellness is an active process. So it's something that you are doing for yourself, right? So that means you can empower yourself to be well within yourself, right? With an illness. Okay, so one of the most profound shifts you can make in your health journey is, as I said before, to connect within yourself more, mind, body, and spirit. When we cultivate self-awareness and emotional intelligence, we tap into an innate power that allows us to move beyond the limitations of a diagnosis that it might suggest, right? So there's a statistic that from the NIH that suggests that patients who engage in self-reflection and emotional self-regulation experiences faster recovery rates from illness and surgery. In my experience, when people reframe their health journey from a victim mentality to one of empowerment and seeing that they have control about how they view their health and how they view their diagnosis, they experience wellness and healing in a completely different way, right? So for example, if you think of yourself as saying, I'm a victim of this diagnosis. And now I want to mention that having feelings about your diagnosis, especially when you just heard about it, of course you're going to have feelings. Of course, you're going to have a lot of thoughts that are running through your mind. It's almost like you're going through a grieving process of not having optimal health, right? But what is important is not to stay stuck in that way of thinking. Yes, you want to process your feelings and how you're going through that process, but you don't want to be in a cycle of feeling victimized because of this health change that is happening within you, okay? So instead of thinking about I'm a victim, you can think of saying I am powerful and I'm reclaiming my wellness with this illness. That's one way that you can shift how you're thinking about your health and wellness with an illness. There are many different mindfulness tools that you can use to help you on this journey. And one of them is practicing mindful breathing, which you may have heard about before. Very, very powerful. And another one is gratitude. Thinking about what you already have. When you have a diagnosis, you think about what is going on that is wrong with you, right? Or worrying about the stresses of what will be. And it's more difficult for us to live in the present moment and focus on what we have. What are the things in your health and your wellness that are positive in your life? It's a quick way to shift your energy from having feelings of sadness, a low frequency or a low vibration of energy, to a higher vibration of energy of what you appreciate, right? Of what you're grateful for, right? So in this moment, just think about and write down, if you have a pen and paper, 3 things that you're currently grateful for. as it relates to your health and wellness. Let's be very specific. And as you're writing that down, it's observe the feelings that you're having when you're writing that down. And notice that you can't be sad and be grateful at the same time. Okay? So you're not defined by your diagnosis. You are greater than your diagnosis. And it's a shift in perspective that I think we all need to think more about. And it's a conversation that we need to have more of. Because by shifting your mindset and embracing a more integrative and holistic approach, you can transcend the limitations that you think you have. So why don't you think about a limitation that you think you have within your health? And jot that down. And then ask yourself, is that 100% true? So anytime that you have thoughts of doubt, uncertainty, really pause and ask yourself, is that 100% true? And this is all about mindfulness, right? So you want to be aware of the thoughts that you're thinking, because a lot of the thoughts that we're thinking are very, very similar. They're repeating thoughts, right? Might be 5 to 10 thoughts that we're thinking on repeat. So we need to be aware of what those thoughts are and be observant to ask yourself, are these thoughts helping me or hurting me, so to speak? Are these thoughts keeping me stuck where I am? Are these thoughts 100% true, like I mentioned before? Or is there a way that I can shift how I am thinking about this specific thing that I'm thinking is a problem? I remember when I was first diagnosed, and it was a very big shock. Didn't see it coming at all. And I had always known that I wanted to be a physician. And there was this overwhelming, indescribable feeling of not wanting this diagnosis to limit the dreams that I had for myself. And one of the things that actually pushed me to think that even more and to confirm that within myself was, and I remember this like it was yesterday, just stepping into the dialysis clinic and just feeling, I could feel the low energy in that space of sadness, of despair, of that woe is me type of feeling. And I knew that I did not want to feel that way. It was almost as if when I entered that room, it just hit me of how everyone was feeling in that space. And I knew that I did not want to live my life that way if I didn't have to. And so it definitely started with that feeling within me to then have a shift in my thought to say, I can do this. And one of the things that's so important that I learned on the journey that some of you might be able to relate to as well is that I couldn't do it alone. That support system is crucial to helping you to feel as if you can live better, you can live well. So think about the support that you currently have on your health and wellness journey? And even think about it in reverse. How are you supportive to others where their health and wellness is concerned? So I want us to do an exercise of cultivating gratitude within. And I'll give you a statistic that, there's some studies that have shown that the practice of gratitude can significantly improve your physical health, your emotional health, and your mental health as well. Research has found that people who regularly express gratitude experience, for example, higher energy. They sleep better, and some of them even have fewer ailments. And one of the studies from the Journal of Psychosomatic Research found that gratitude was linked to improved sleep quality and overall health outcomes. Of course, you want to know what the root cause of why you're not sleeping well is, right? But there are some studies that show that gratitude can improve sleep quality and other health conditions. Okay. All right. So before I go into our practice, does anyone have any questions? Let's see what we have in the chat here. Correct. Yes, I do practice in Florida. Yes, I do telemedicine, but it would have to be within the state of Florida. The patient would have to be in the state of Florida. Oh, and you like my accent? Thanks. Thanks, Cecile. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. I don't want you to see my face because we're going to close our eyes and we're going to cultivate that gratitude within. All right. Let me make sure that I can share my screen. I think so. Okay, hold on.
Dr. KTap.
Okay, so this is just here. I'm just gonna play it, and that's not the one. Hold on. I don't think it's working. All right, let's not do that. All right, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and close your eyes. Okay. Find a comfortable seating position wherever you are. And begin to just be aware of your breath. Taking a slow, deep inhale in and a nice, relaxed exhale out. Allowing yourself to settle in to this present moment. Continue with your deep inhales and your exhales. Now start by bringing your attention to your feet. Feel the connection between your feet and the ground. Notice any sensations, whether your feet are warm, cool, or neutral. Slowly move your awareness up through your body to your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips. Let go of any tension you may be holding on to in each of those areas. Continue to move up through your body towards your stomach, your chest, your shoulders, your neck, your head. And as you breathe deeply, allow each part of your body to relax and to soften. Noticing any areas of tension and just releasing them. Now, let's focus on gratitude. Begin by taking a deep breath in through your nose and another breath out through your mouth. This time, we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. So breathe in, hold, exhale. In, hold, exhale. And as you inhale, imagine you are breathing in gratitude. And with each breath, feel the gratitude filling your body and your heart. And as you hold your breath, acknowledge the small blessings in your life, the things you may often overlook. And as you exhale, release any tension, any negativity. And we're going to do a few more of those cycles. So inhale gratitude, hold, and exhale negativity. Again, inhale, hold, and exhale any tension. One more time. Inhale, hold, and exhale anything that no longer serves you. Now just return back to your regular breathing. And now I want you to imagine a bright light. A bright, warm light surrounding you. And this light represents the energy of gratitude. Visualize this light filling your entire body, starting from the top of your head and moving all the way down to your feet. Feel the warm, beautiful light. And as it moves through you, think about the things that you are grateful for today. These could be the simple, everyday moments, or maybe major life changes that you see as blessings in your life. As you bring each moment of gratitude to mind, feel the light glowing brighter and brighter. Visualize it expanding around you, creating a space of deep peace and appreciation. Notice how this gratitude begins to shift the energy in your body. Feel the lightness of your heart, the calming of your mind, and bringing you a deep sense of peace. Now, think of specific things or people in your life that you are grateful for. Maybe it's your health, your friends, your family, or just the peace and the strength that you have within yourself. Allow yourself to fully feel that warmth, that peace, that light that comes from this gratitude. And as we close out this practice, repeat within yourself the following. As you silently take a deep breath in and out, feeling the energy of each word as you breathe. So repeat within yourself, I am grateful for the health that I have today. I am thankful for the strength and resilience within me. I appreciate the love, the support that I receive. I am grateful for every small blessing in my life. Now begin to gently bring your awareness back to the room, back to the space you're in. Wiggle your fingers, toes. Feel the surface beneath you. And whenever you feel ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And take a moment to reflect on how you feel right now. If you feel more calm, more centered, feel lighter. And remember that the more you practice gratitude, the more you invite positivity into your life, especially during challenging times. The more you experience calm, more peace, the better able you are to enjoy the life that you're living. Thank you for taking this time to cultivate more gratitude within yourself. And just remember that you can always tap into it whenever you want to. Let me know in the chat how everyone is feeling, or let me know in the chat what you're grateful for, what your experience was just now. There's so much that goes on within our lives, within the world. And when we remember that we don't have control over all the things that are going on, or most of the things that are going on, we do have control over ourselves. How we think, how we feel, how we show up in our lives. And that is what empowers us to move forward. So always remember and pay attention to what you are paying attention to that might be affecting your health and your well-being.
Now,
That's beautiful, Jennifer.
if someone doesn't feel like typing, you can unmute yourself and share that way.
I see Jennifer just wrote, grateful for this supportive community. That's beautiful, Jennifer.
Thank you for this very calm space that you're sharing with us. Yeah.
You're very welcome. We need more calmness in our lives, don't we? We do. But when we realize that we can welcome that in ourselves, then we're taking more control. Feeling relaxed and grateful. Yes, grateful for friends that can help you. Absolutely. Your support system is very important. You're welcome, Irene. Any questions or any thoughts? In the chat or on mute? Okay.
So, Dr. KTap, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yes, Janet. So the title of the book is called You Are Greater Than Your Diagnosis. So, the talk today just gave a little snippet of what is in the book. And the whole point of the book is, giving you 10 steps that you can use within your life so that you don't feel limited by your diagnosis. And these steps have to do with what I have experienced and what has worked for me. So within the book, I give you life examples, as well as strategies that you can implement in your life as well. And that book will be coming out later this year, in the fall. Stay tuned for the exact date.
Now, the good news is Dr. KTap has a wait list for her book. And we will include that in the post event email that I promised to send out this afternoon. I'm just really happy that you have that, because sometimes authors don't, and you gotta let people know where to go. You remind me of Dr. Kogan in that way. He was very forward thinking when he was doing his before the publication of his marijuana guide. All right, Misha, is there anything you want to tell the folks?
No.
Along with thanking Dr.
Yeah.
KTap
Kathryn,
for
thank you
sharing
so
her
much
knowledge.
for this wonderful, wonderful sharing. Those of you who wants to stay to talk to me, please do so. I know that 2 people have to stay to talk to me personally. Otherwise, I'm not here next